Well, thank you for being here in Timișoara.
Thank you for having me. Absolutely.
It's a very important days here in Timișoara regarding classical music, managing, impresariat, and all these kind of very important things in musical life. And I want you to tell me a few things about yourself, what you do, and how did you manage to do all these wonderful things that you do right now.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me here. It is a great pleasure to be here in Timișoara for this great Classical ME Summit this year. First thing, I'm not a musician, so I'm studied event management in Hamburg in Germany, and then started my career in 2003, so more than 20 years ago. Started working in a classical music agency in Hamburg. After some years, let's say moved to the other side and worked for a presenter, for a concert promoter in Basel in Switzerland, and I was responsible for the programming and the planning of more than 100 concerts per season. After doing that for some years, I had the feeling that I would like to work more closely again with artists, promoting their careers, building their profiles, and helping them in their challenging lives as a professional musician. So I founded my own agency back in 2009, so more than 15 years ago now. And this is what I'm doing at the moment. Still having an agency that is growing, that is doing well, that has gone well through the crisis. Luckily, we are still here. Times are still challenging, but it is still a joy to work every day with artists from a very young age to more established ones, doing chamber music, orchestra touring, and so on.
Here in Romania, this is somehow a new thing, managing and doing all these, representing artists, and these things are quite new for the musical field in Romania.
Yes.
And this interview is dedicated to young musicians who maybe think about themselves being on great and big stages of the world, and thinking that at some point an impresario, a great one, or a managing director comes for them and just take them from their homes and promote them in the big stages. So this is not quite what is happening.
No.
And I want you to tell us a few things about all this
Well, I think
process.
The times when there were the so-called impresarios are over for a long time. So today, let's say the modern management is a kind of relationship between a manager and an artist who work together, who, let's say, commit each other to work together, to grow together, to build the career of the artist, but also to build the career of the manager together. And it's not like, as an artist or as a young artist, you can say, now I am signed with an agency, I can lay back and everything else is done for me. It's definitely not like that. You have to be active yourself, you have to create your own network, you have to talk to orchestra managers, you have to talk to conductors, you have to talk to festival intendants, you have to talk to everyone yourself, but then create it together with your manager. Of course the manager is trying to get you concerts, but a management, we are not booking agents, so to say. Like there is the system in America where you have a manager and you have a booking agent. The booking agent is just calling the promoters and the orchestras all day long and just trying to get you gigs and concerts. But a manager is doing more than just acquiring you concerts. A manager is responsible for your profile, is responsible for your career outside of the stage, let's say PR, social media, recording contracts, recording possibilities, building a strategy for the next 3, 4, 5 years together with you, and being also, let's say, in the middle of, the manager is in the middle, and then you have the recording company, you have the PR agent, you have the artist, you have the promoters. So it is more than just booking concerts. It is working together and managing your career and building up your profile. So what I wanted to say is that it should not be the aim to just be on a list of an agency and thinking that this is the key to the stages of the world. You have to find a partner in crime, so to say, that you work with together, that you enjoy working together, that you can even have a glass of wine or drink a beer after a concert together and enjoy time together, and having a relationship also on the basis of human beings. And I think this is the most important thing, to find someone. Doesn't matter how big the agency is, doesn't matter how important the agency is. If you find the right person who is willing to work with you and who is believing in you, I think should be the aim for young emerging artists.
Thinking about the young artists, I guess they all wonder, how do I get to that managing director? How do I get to that agent? Or how do I get to be with a person I trust and build a relationship, like you said, and build our own career, each of us?
It is, of course, this is a very good question. It is a tricky situation for everyone who wants to work in the professional field. I mean, one thing for young upcoming artists who really believe that they are ready to go on a professional career, I think it is still the competitions, the worldwide competitions, because most of the managers, most of the agents are screening these competitions, definitely. Whether they are attending themselves on spot, or whether they are looking in the internet or on the stream or whatever. But this is still a very important vehicle, so to say, to get on the radar of the managers, are the competitions. But there are a lot of musicians who cannot, let's say, take this mind, this how do I say? I mean, taking this getting into the state of being under the pressure of a competition. Some people cannot stand that. So I think it is also good to prepare very good material, video, perhaps a very short, let's say, promotional video about yourself, not only you playing, but your life, what your aims are, doing an interview like this, having a kind of a profile video of yourself, and showing this to agents, managers, people in the business that you know, and just seeing who you can get interested. And there are a lot of agencies, there are a lot of managers, there are a lot of people in the business throughout the whole world that you can easily get in contact with, but you have to see that it is, and it's a bit the parallel to our profession, to get concerts. I mean, you have to have a kind of good frustration level that you deal with, but I think if you believe in yourself and you think that you are ready to go on stage, then you will find your person, I'm quite sure.
And what does a manager look for in a musician? Let's say I have all prepared. I have videos, I have interviews.
Yes.
I give a good impression when everybody sees me.
The first thing I think what is important before you try to approach a manager or an agency, have a good look at the existing roster of the agency. If you're a violinist and there are already 7, 8 violinists on the roster, 2 of them in the same age as you are, don't do it. Because, they will say, thank you very much, but our roster is full and we have profiles. Perhaps not even listening to what you send them, not even looking at the video. Try to find out where in the rosters of the agents you can find your spot. By looking at the roster who is already there and seeing, okay, they don't have a clarinet player, they don't have a viola player, they don't have a trumpet. Perhaps this is the spot where I can get their attention, because it might be that they are looking for the trumpet spot on the roster or the horn spot on the roster. Because this is what I'm doing when I get so many applications every week from ensembles, from artists, from conductors. And it is a fact that due to the high workload that we are dealing with every day, they are just getting our attention if it is an instrument or an age level that we do not represent at the moment. So that is in addition to our roster that we are not dealing with at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very important all you say, because everyone should understand all this process.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you should understand this process before you are doing this work of sending out applications, sending out or approaching managers with your videos, with your biography, with your profile. Do the research work before, and then send it only particularly to the ones where you think it could work.
Yeah.
I think it's better, and it's a more. It's more promising than just sending out your stuff to everyone.
Yeah.
And it's the same that we are doing. I mean, I'm talking to the one presenter, I'm talking like this. To the other presenter, I'm talking like this because I did the research. See, what are they doing in their seasons? Which profiles of artists are they presenting in the last 2-3 years? What kind of fee level can they pay when I look at the artists who have been already there? And then I send them the particular offers of our roster, only the ones where I think this could work from the research that I have done.
Yeah.
And not just sending the whole roster and saying, hey, pick whatever you want.
Yeah.
Because the presenters don't like that, and they will just put it in the rubbish.
Yeah. It's important, again, what you say, because somehow you act like a psychologist. You know the musician, and you know where he is proper to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is important for the musician to know that they have to build a very strong relationship with that manager. Because he will definitely know where they can go or where they are not fit.
Exactly, and where they are going at which stage of their career.
Yeah.
You have to start from the bottom, unless you win the biggest competition or whatever are once in a lifetime talent. Okay, there are these, of course there are these examples all the time, but the majority of the artists, they have to go step by step and just build their career. I think this is something really important to learn and to see before you go into this field.
Yeah. We are now living different times, because 20 years ago maybe there were impresarios or managers that went throughout the world and just seeking for the right musician to represent.
Or even traveling with the artist, right? Yeah,
yes,
all
with
the time.
Artist.
Yeah.
And now it's very important that we live in this 21st century where it's always about speed and social media, and you have to be there and there and there all the time. And this, what I want to emphasize here is that 20 years ago, impresario or manager doesn't exist anymore, because you, as you said, you as a musician have to promote yourself, to learn to do this. But it's very difficult for the younger generation, because they are just there with their instrument and studying, and that's something that are doing in their own room. And then you have to open towards everybody.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think this is something that is missing, from my point of view, at the universities or the music universities, where I think, and I'm doing this from time to time, but I think it should be done more and more and more from the managers, to talk to the universities, to go there for a day, for a weekend or whatever, and to talk about the realities of the industry after you are leaving the university, because it's a completely different life. I mean, it is, you get into a business, which is a business in the end, and many people and many young musicians want to have their spot. I mean, of course, many of them have the aim to play in an orchestra. Then they apply for an orchestra position. They get the job, they don't get the job, they do the next application, okay, and then but if you want to be a soloist or a chamber music ensemble who is just playing, let's say, quartet or trio or whatever, it is a hard life. And it is very hard in the beginning. And this is why I think young musicians or musicians who are ending their studies at the universities, they need to be trained for this as well. And this is something, because I'm here also not only as for my own agency, but I'm here because I'm member of the board of the AEAA, this Association of European Artist Managers, and we always say to all our members, who are all agents in Europe, saying, contact your local university, go there, offer yourself to give a kind of master class in music management or in artist management, and train the new generation of artists who are coming up.
Yeah, and this should happen also here in Romania more often.
I think it is important. I mean, what I find here after the day yesterday here, what is missing here in Romania is definitely that someone takes the courage to open up an agency here. There is no artist management agency in Romania. I mean, there are some people who come from Romania and working in other countries, but I think there need to be a local artist agency here in Romania doing two things. First, finding the great talent from this country, but also working with other colleagues from other countries and bringing the international artists to Romania. It needs to be a kind of exchange.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that someone really, but I think things like this classical summit here are the first steps, but going to the universities and really speaking and talking to the music students, telling them what they are expecting or what they need to expect, what they are, what their fears are, what their needs are, what their questions are, but also showing them the reality.
Yeah.
What will happen after you are leaving the university?
Yeah.
Because you will definitely need to be ready to get outside of your safe house, so to say. I mean, as you said, the university, you go, you study, you practice in your room with colleagues, but everything in this very tiny surrounding of people that do the same thing. But after that, you are out there to the world, and you have to be ready for that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very important to tell this, because all the young musicians that finish, graduate music universities don't know what to do with their careers most of the time.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. How do you see the musical world? This is
in general?
Somehow thinking about the musicians like an advice. How do you see the in general, the entire musical world? Is very competitive? Is, I don't know, there are tough people there. What should they expect?
Definitely there are tough people, and it is, we have to be real, it is a quite small industry still. I mean, and inside this quite small industry compared to rock music or pop music or whatever, inside this, then you also have this, it is a very, let's say, person-driven industry. So you have to build up your personal network, because you have to know the right people at the right places to be able to help you. And it is a heavy industry. Absolutely, it is not easy to find your place in this industry, especially in those days where not only your musical qualities are important. I would say the musical qualities are 50% nowadays. The rest is networking, doing your social media, doing your PR, finding the right people, doing recordings, and so on, and promoting yourself. This has become more and more important to be really your own manager, so to say, but within the relationship to your professional manager. But you have to be active. You have to be active, and you have to do your work and promote your work yourself. It is not, as I said before, it's not just I have a manager now, I lay back and wait the results of the concert, then I go to stage and play. No.
It's not
it is
enough.
more.
Yeah,
It is more. It is definitely more. And what really, really became important in the last years is the whole thing with social media. I mean, there are presenters who are screening the social media profiles of artists, and they do their choices of the information. I mean, let's say they do their choices on the basis of the information that they see from social media profiles. How many followers do they have? What kind of content is he or she creating? And how many potential concert visitors can this or that violinist bring us?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that this is happening everywhere, but I have some cases and some experience where this have been told to me, that they said, well, we choose that one instead of that one because he has 50,000 followers and she has only 10,000 followers. So there are 40K more potential concert goers when we book him.
Yeah.
It is the reality, and we have to face it, and we have to work with it. I mean, if we like it or not.
Yeah, and be very careful what you post on
And
Facebook.
be very careful what you post on, and really also have a kind of social media training. I mean, you have to have social media training, you have to have your career planning training, you have to have your training of how to do the right programming, the choice of program, the choice of repertoire. So it's a lot more than just being on stage and playing music.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.